What's up, Fox here, and I am back. Now, if you would like a little explanation as well as a sort of where things are going in the future with this channel, I will save that till the end. But needless to say, I plan to come into 2023 full swing, so get ready for more videos from Tech and subscribe if you haven't already. But today we're going to be taking a look at the Logitech Pro X Superlight mouse. Now, I'm going to be rating this mouse on 4 categories, all worth 5 points each. We have build quality, connectivity, features, and battery life. In the end, we will give this a score out of 10 using the power of long division. But our first category is going to be build quality. Now, this thing is built like it was built in 2013, which it very well might have. What was that? This thing feels like it was built in 2013, which it very well might have been because of the features you'll see later on. But the build quality is fine. It is perfectly adequate, and I have no complaints whatsoever, except for the fact that if you have hands slightly larger than mine, I'm a 6-foot man, and my hand is pretty dang big. But if you have hands bigger than mine, you might run into issues, just because the curvature makes the mouse seem a little bit smaller than other mice of its size. I don't know if that makes sense, but I wish there were maybe slight grooves in the mouse for comfortability, but it's just a fine, solid build. The plastic feels a little cheap in terms of other mice of this caliber. It is a very smooth plastic, but it is matte for the most part. The buttons are tactile, at least the top 2. The side 2 buttons are not as much. They're a little bit mushy, and they are made of a glossy plastic, which looks cheap. They're not the mushiest side buttons I've ever had. You still get a click at the end, but they feel like a forced click, and the actual mechanism is very mushy. And the scroll wheel is a scroll wheel. It's fine. I will say it is pretty light. It isn't the lightest mouse I've ever held, and super light might be exaggerating things just a little bit, but it is a super light mouse. It really isn't that bad. I've just held SteelSeries wireless mice that have been lighter, but with that said, it is perfectly light enough for all of your first-person shooter needs, which is sort of what this mouse is going for. Up next, we're going to talk about the connectivity. Now, I always say my PC is cursed because anytime I put a 2.4 gigahertz band in my PC, either one of the ports explodes or the mouse doesn't work. And yet, defying all odds is this little fella, the Logitech Superlight Pro X, 4 million other letters in the alphabet as well. And it's worked great except for one day. So I am going to give it the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that one day and only dock a few percentage points. But we also have a few other things to complain about before I give the final rating. First of all, I would have loved for this to be a Bluetooth mouse as well as a super light mouse. This still seems like a very archaic mouse, and I wish they would refresh it at some point. Maybe they have, and this is just a cheaper option. But having Bluetooth connectivity would be fantastic, and that's why I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5 in the latency/connectivity category. It's perfectly fine. You're going to have no issues whatsoever. I just wish there were more features. Speaking of features, that's our next category. This is a tried and true first-person shooter mouse. Exactly what a lot of people are looking for. It's just a simple 5-button setup, and it is completely programmable through the app. But there are 2 things that bring this mouse down quite drastically. First of all, no Bluetooth connectivity applies to this category as well, but I'm not going to judge this harshly so that way we don't judge twice over. The problem that I have with this is it's 2023. I get that you're just making molds of the old one, but I think a dire refresh is needed to put USB-C in this thing, because I bought this mouse for not an insignificant amount of money. That was a word. For not an insignificant amount of money, and it feels like it crawled out of 2013 to give me its last breath. It also comes with a very, very goofy micro USB cable, and if you have a thick micro USB cable, you might not be able to use it while using the mouse. So that's going to give it a 4 out of 5 in the features category. Everything else is perfectly refined. The 5-button setup is perfectly fine. You get reprogrammable features, so if you don't care about micro USB or Bluetooth connectivity, this might just be a 5 out of 5 for you. And last but not least, we have battery life, which I am very pleased to say this thing lasts. They claim 70 hours of constant motion, and I believe them 100%. This thing lasts me weeks without having to charge. When I do charge, it's a crappy micro USB charger, but we already talked about that before. So the actual battery life itself gets a 5 out of 5. This thing is phenomenal when it comes to battery life, and I think overall it's a great mouse. So I'm going to tally up the results and tell you my final verdict. And just as I expected, this mouse gets a final verdict of 9 out of 10. I highly recommend it if you're looking for something simple, though slightly archaic. It's got a tried and true tested method. The durability is going to last you a long time. I have no doubt that this mouse is going to be perfect for most people, which is why it is still the #1 mouse in a lot of categories, because it is just a fantastic little thing, and I recommend it for anybody who is looking for a wireless but simple mouse. You get fantastic battery life. The 5-button layout is tried and true. The micro USB sucks. The 2.4 gigahertz band works fantastic. And it is very light for being a wireless mouse. And there you have it. Now let's talk a little bit about ya tech, because boy oh boy, it's been a little bit, A lot of things happened in December and the first half of January. In terms of personal stuff, and I don't really want to go into that, but needless to say, I kind of lost myself a little bit, and in doing so, I lost the rigor of this channel, and it disappoints me a lot. Like, I understand when people are like, oh, I feel so bad. No, like, this eats at me a lot to look over the past month and see no videos, and the videos that I have been uploading being not the most polished videos that I've done really does suck. And I can see that my channel is on a slight decline right now, which is perfectly fine. It's nothing we can't bounce back from, I hope, but it isn't what I wanted to see, and I need to take this channel more seriously. As I've gotten monetized and as I've gained over 1,000 subscribers, I think that it is time for me to sort of put my foot down. The problem that I have is that sometimes I don't have a lot of ideas. If you can't tell, I'm in a college dorm room, and my test bench is very finicky as is. I do plan to get more graphics card reviews out there, but I think that was something that stopped me from making videos. It's just how hard they can be to make sometimes. So if anybody has any sort of guidance or help on how to streamline these videos a little bit to make it easier on me, I would really appreciate it, because sometimes it does get difficult to find things to make content on. I have quite a few ideas. As you can see, I have a new little addition to my microphone, which I'm very excited to share with y'all. But overall, I think that I kind of hit a almost like a writer's block when it comes to this channel, and also my laziness took hold, and I plan to change that in the future. That said, I do like the help. If you have any ideas that you would like, leave them in the comments. Always, in all my videos, I always respond. And other than that, I think that we're gonna have a great year. I also started another personal sort of channel, Gears, which is about Gears of War, since I know a lot of this channel was built on Gears of War back in the day. If you are interested in sort of reliving that magic, I'm having a lot of fun doing that channel over there as well. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, like, subscribe, do as usually do, and as always, buy yourself something nice.